daily fantasy sports. Every second counts, every stat, every player. Every decision can be the difference between victory and defeat. Are you ready to rise to the challenge? Welcome to the DFS Huddle, your ultimate playbook for DFS domination. We're here to break down the matchups, uncover the sleepers, and provide the expert analysis you need to build your winning lineup from football to basketball to UFC to NASCAR. We cover it all. Join us as we dive deep into the numbers, debate the strategies, and help you cash in. This isn't just a game, it's a battle of wits, and in the huddle, we prepare for victory. The DFS Huddle starts now.
I cannot hear you, my man.
There we go. That's better. It'll be helpful when I'm not screaming at my son to deal with the dog and unmute the microphone. That's a very peaceful intro. I like that one. Very peaceful. Gets you into the mode, into the mood. Welcome into the DFS Huddle, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please, wherever you're watching, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Want to let you know all of our picks and DFS lineups when it all comes to, especially NASCAR. We get a little more information tomorrow after qualifying and practice laps. That'll all be in the Patreon. You can join that by clicking the link below. So we're going to talk about this UFC Mexico fight card, which we're talking before. In terms of DFS and betting, it's an absolute shit show. It fucking sucks. Boom, boom, boom. Dix Insider, thank you. The BetUS MLB show, we will have our first future show on Rumble. We'll be on Rumble this year, not YouTube. And that will be on the 9th of March. Tuesday, March 9th will be our first future show. And we are back this year. Myself, Kenny, Corby, and Base Winner will all be there. So love you, Dixon. We'll see you over there for the baseball show. This one, we're going to talk this UFC card, and then we're going to talk the Circuit of the Americas, the Burnout 250 out in the COTA race out in Texas, which I'm looking forward to much more than I am this UFC card. So let's just looking over it. You have a lot. There's none. You have zero fights, where you get the sort of pick 'em prices, right? The 8,100, 7,900 fight, right? There's none of those. All massive favorites. 100%. UFC sucks fucking hard so far to start. You're not wrong. But we have basically just all massive favorites and all big underdogs. The entire fight card is like this, where they're just all massive favorites. And the problem is the underdogs who are dogs outside of guys like Cheeto Vera. And if you want to give King Green, a lifetime, they're shit. They're just dog shit. So I do think for the first time this year, I don't know if we're going to see a lot of upsets. I do think you'll see a fighter who loses in the first place lineup and the optimal lineup. I just don't see a lot. You have to pay up. Everyone's 9,000 or above outside of a couple guys, Reyes and Moreno and Aguilar Perez. You're going to have to pay way up for the guys you want, and then you're going to have to plug your nose for the guys you don't. What do you think about this UFC Mexico card? And again, it's at 10,000 feet, high elevation. Yeah. Cardio comes into play. They are in Mexico City live in front of that crowd. What do you think this weekend? What am I missing here?
I got a couple of people I had to dig deep for some bets and some guys. Obviously, you mentioned Cheeto. I like him, 4.26 strikes per minute. Durable with his 33 seconds average fight time. Obviously, late round, he's always going to be alive. Submission upside, 0.8 per 15. Strong defense. I kind of feel he's back against the wall. He needs to kind of step up and kind of get this fight, or he's probably going to be let go. So I think we're going to look to push him pace. He's lost, 14 of his 16 I read that stat. I was just saying the first
Marlon Vera is historically a really slow starter, and that's the concern, right? In a 3-round fight. It's slow starting, and even if he wins, so even if he ekes out a split decision win, what are you getting points wise right now? That might be good enough in this contest. I think Cheeto, certainly pedigree of fighters who's an underdog, pedigree, King Green, maybe Loner Kavanaugh, in terms of guys who have a little bit of pedigree who are underdogs.
Yeah.
Before we get to the dogs you like, who are like the studs that you want to pay up for? I have a couple of, I think Ryan Gandra knocks Daniel Medina out. Jose Manuel Daniel Medina. I think he knocks him out. I know Medina is pretty durable, but you've seen him dropped. I don't know if Martinez has the power to TKO Cheeto Vera. I just don't see that. And Ryan Gandra. Santiago Luna. And this Pacheco kid, Alex Pacheco, Angel Pacheco, excuse me. Look, he's taking a beating, but he's also landing a ton of shots in his fights. Very active here, so he could be a guy who loses but puts up enough points. But he's just there to get hit. This Santiago Luna has shown real power. That knockout of who was it? Quan Lee. My goodness, back in September, real power there. I like Luna by knockout, so I have him in my lineup. Gandra and Luna, and then I think the mid-price guy is Javier Reyes. Right, Javier Reyes, 8,600. He's fighting against the muscle-bound Douglas Da Silva Andrade. When you see Da Silva Andrade yoked, this dude is fucking built, but he's also 41 years old. Another guy who hasn't been knocked out. I think the only guy to knock him out was Peter Yan like 8 years ago, something like that. But he is getting dropped in these fights, and he's there to be hit. He hasn't fought in a year and a half, has these long layoffs. Javier Reyes has durability issues, but when you watch him in the regional scene, when you watch back some of his fights, a lot of early knockouts. When he's starching people, he's starching them or he's getting starched. Medina, not really a knockout guy. What's his one knockout against Perillo back in 2021? I think Reyes at 8,600. So I'm going Gandra, Luna, and Reyes. That's where I'm starting from, and then I got to figure out the $7,000 guys that I want to play, and it's ugly. It's going to be ugly. But Reyes, Gandra, and Luna are my three pillars of my lineup this week. What do you think?
I love Luna. I'm right there with Luna. I absolutely like Zellhuber. I think this is going to be Bobby. No, sorry. What does he call himself now?
King Green.
King Green. I think King Green. I mean, I think this is going to be his last go around. I think we're going to see a knockout or a club and sub from Zellhuber to Green. Absolutely agree with you on Luna. I kind of think Moreno is going to get the finish in the main event.
So let's talk the main event, right? So Brandon Moreno, I mean, he's going to have the crowd behind him. He's a great Mexican champion, fought all the best guys. And he was a volume guy, a wrestler guy. But if you sort of look, since his fight with Brandon Royval that he lost, he's only had one takedown in his last 3 fights. That's against Amir Albazi, Steve Urseg, and then Tatsuya Taira just smoked him on the ground. I just don't know that fight with Steve Urseg. Remember, Steve Urseg was sort of on the rise, but remember what happened to him since then. Hasn't looked great.
Yeah.
Only 89 significant strikes landed in a 5-round striking match with Steve Urseg where you got only one takedown. You only had a minute of control time. I just wonder if he's on the downward slope.
Mm-hmm.
So Lonier Kavanaugh, I do think hits harder. Now, if you get down to a decision, it's close in front of the Mexican crowd. You know, who knows? All bets are off there. But I don't know. Even if Brandon Moreno wins, I don't know if he scores a lot of fantasy points. I just haven't seen the wrestling. I don't know. Lonier Kavanaugh's young, strong, a little more powerful. This could end up being a boring striking match where maybe the winner lands 100 significant strikes, but I think if I'm playing one of the two, it's Lonier Kavanaugh. I'm not going to play Brandon Moreno. I'd rather play Javier Reyes at 86, I think.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of lower people I like. I'm taking my
That's
shot.
what I'm looking for. I would love to hear some. They were talking about the Bobby Green, Daniel Zellhuber fight, too. That's Daniel Zellhuber just lost his last fight against Charles Johnson. I'm just underwhelmed by Daniel Zellhuber. He just kind of just throws this jab. He's long and lanky, but all he does is just throw that stupid fucking jab, and that's it. He doesn't do shit else.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure that. Look, King Green, we saw him get knocked out by a fucking jab, and so you wonder is his durability gone? He keeps his hands really low, so you worry about the leg kicks that are the high kicks that Zellhuber certainly possesses. That's where the knockout for me would come. But I don't know, Zellhuber, or is he just going to stand there for fucking 5 minutes and just like he did in his last 2 fights? Very frustrating. So you're taking King Green DFS wise? You think?
No. I definitely have Zellhuber in that. I'm gonna go to Marcy. 6-inch reach advantage, 6-inch height, 70% finish rate. She has trouble when she's pinned up against a cage, and that's not Perez's game. And Perez wants to get her to the ground, but this is going to be the best grappler wrestler she's gone against. I'm a little bit concerned about that. And if this stays in the middle, I think Marcy has the advantage there. So I definitely like her. She's at 7,900, I believe. I love Wes Schultz. I mean, this is a classic underdog grappler.
He's fighting a big penis, though. He's fighting a big old penis.
Yeah. And, you know, if the guy's named penis, I mean, like, dude, be honest. Like, if you're a UFC fighter, wouldn't you want your name, your middle name, or like your nickname or whatever to be like hard, big, like Kyle Hard Penis? Like that would, like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. At my age, I kind of have the sex appeal of a fucking plane crash. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that.
Wes, I mean, I like Wes here. You know, 5 of his 8 wins by submission. 88.
I worry about the cardio. His
but,
cardio doesn't seem to check, and Mexico City at elevation. That's
but doesn't like the cardio, won't that favor the wrestler though? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Wrestling, it takes way more energy to wrestle than it does to strike. This big penis guy has a decent wrestling game too. He's not bad.
I love how we're counting big penis too.
Damian Big Penis, man.
And look, I kind of like this Regina girl that's taking the fight on short notice, 7-0, fighting in Mexico City. Was supposed to fight in the Contender Series, had a little bit of a hiccup, couldn't do it here. Is here, but she was training for a Muay Thai bout, so she did have a full camp. 6 finishes and 7 wins, 4 KOs, 2 subs, aggressive style. She's going to be the hometown favorite. I think she's going to be likely owned because people are just going to see her coming in here. And by paying down for her, I think she's like 7,900 as well. It's going to open some stuff up.
Yeah, I think this comment right here, this is what I worry about, is Schultz gassing out in the second round. That's what I sort of worry about elevation, because it certainly takes much more energy to grab, especially if he's having a hard time getting the takedown. If it takes so much work and takes so much out of you in that early round. So round 2 could be an interesting way. One more. So we're going to have to play, no matter how you build your lineups here, you're going to have to play 1 or 2 of these Chris Matinos, you know, Daniel Medina. You're going to have to play Eric Silva, one of these real fucking bad fighters, right? Chris Matino's terrible. I think he's about to go 0-5 in the UFC, which would be like the 2nd or 3rd, 4th guy to ever do that.
Yeah.
But he's fighting a guy in Christian Quinones, who's a massive favorite and super high priced. Christian Quinones is fucking terrible. Christian Quinones hasn't won a fight in the UFC since September of 2022. So it's been nearly 4 years. Even if he loses here, I think Moutinho could hang around, maybe put up enough points. He's the cheapest guy on the card. How is Chris Quinones the highest priced guy on the card when he's just not good? So even though I think Chris Moutinho is just hot garbage and should not be in the UFC, he should be fighting elsewhere, I'm not sure I'm comfortable taking a guy like Chris Quinones, who hasn't won a UFC fight in 4 fucking years, as this big of a favorite. I might take a stab on Chris Moutinho and hope he can hang around for 3 rounds and get me 40 points.
I mean, you look at it, he was priced 76, 88, 79. And now he's all the way up there as the highest price guy.
And part of that is Chris Moutinho just gets, you know, he's not good. But yeah. I mean, look, Wellmaker hits hard. So I'm not going to knock him for that. Canetti caught him if you watch that fight. And then he went to the 3rd round with Shane O'Malley. He landed 70 significant strikes against Shane O'Malley.
Yeah.
Look, the guy's a punching bag, but Christian Quinones is terrible. So it's just, for me, the price is wrong there. So I might take, of these guys, of Silva, of these guys who are real cheap, that we're going to have to pick one. Of, Pacheco, Medina, Moutinho, Eric Silva. Do you have any interest in who's the one you like the most? Because I think we're going to have to play one of them. I just don't know any way around it.
Jesus,
it's tough. This is a really horrible UFC card. Like, Jesus fuck. This is not the week to start your Paramount Plus subscription. Okay, although they got good stuff on Paramount Plus. The roasts are funny.
Landman's solid. Jesus, dude. I mean, like,
tough. You see the problem? Like, try to make a lineup, put a couple 9,000 guys in there with Reyes and then see what happens. It's like, holy shit, who am I gonna play?
The one I played around with, Terrain, Schultz, and Chesson, I put in as my lower budget people. I had to go 3 because I went.
I think I'm sitting the way I'm sitting right here. It's going for me. I think I might have to play Moutinho here, and then it's like I've got Kavanaugh, Gandra, Luna, Reyes, Moutinho, and Aylin Perez. I mean, that's fucked. I don't know. It's going to be real tough this week. You're going to have a loss or two in the winning lineup. So my advice this week, pick the studs who are going to score the most, but you're not getting 4 guys. And it's real tough to get 4 really good favorites. I guess we sort of have them here. You're going to have to hope one of those 2 guys wins. I'm going Moutinho, Kavanaugh. I could see the argument. Yeah, hot take. Perez isn't hot. She does nothing for me. I disagree. I think Aylin Perez is a smoke show. All right, let's get off this this UFC and let's get to the COTA race this weekend, because now first 2 weeks we've had speedways. You had Super Speedway, obviously, at Daytona, a little bit smaller. Last week at Echo Park, Tyler Reddick winning both races. Lots of accidents, right? Just pure fucking chaos. The only way we had a couple really good lineups, but you just lose one driver, and so then you end up finishing like the top 50, 60. You got to get real lucky. That's not going to be the case this week. It's not super common for cars to crash out at this COTA race. Like last year, they only lost 3 cars. It was Austin Dillon, Suarez, and Connor Zilich early trying to run. Back in 2024, I think the only car that didn't finish was Michael McDowell, and that was because of a steering brake. There were no accidents in that race. 2023, that's the year that Christopher Bell and Prix and those guys got in an accident. But again, what I'm saying is a lot more consistent. You can have a little bit more trust this week that your guy is going to make it to the finish. And there's guys who are just good on road courses, right?
Yeah.
So just a few stats here that I just wanted to give out before we break this down is, look, we know SVG is the #1 road course racer in the world. He's plus 120 to win a NASCAR race. That's fucking crazy, right? You just don't see that. He's literally plus 120. However, here at COTA, he's not had the results here at COTA. 20th last year. Tyler Reddick. So when you look at the 3 racers who have the best average finish since the next generation car came in 2022, best average finish, Tyler Reddick, he's never finished lower than 5th. Alex Bowman is finishing in the top 5 every year, and Ross Chastain. So there are pivots here, and you're going to have to pivot because, to me, there are a clear group of guys who are your road course racers. Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zilich, young. He's still young, but he has actually beaten SVG in road races in Xfinity, won this race last year at Xfinity. Connor Zilich is an excellent road course racer. Will Byron, Tyler Reddick, the old school guys, AJ Allmendinger, great road course racer, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, to a lesser extent, Chase Briscoe. But you don't really hear about Alex Bowman a lot. I think Alex Bowman's a great place. Christopher Bell, of course, has never, in a COTA race where he hasn't crashed out that one year, he's never finished lower than 3rd. Christopher Bell is sensational at COTA. But so you want to get those road course guys, of course, on the Patreon. We'll have a list, top 10 road course drivers, their prices, all that stuff in the Patreon. But I'm looking at Alex Bowman, who's averaging top 5 finishes. He's 35 to 1 this week to win this race. 7,800 on DraftKings. I think I'm going to start there and then pay up. It's going to be multiple lineups, because if you play SVG, you're not getting any other big names up there. You're going to have to get real creative, and you're going to have to dive down for a guy that historically maybe doesn't do as well here that you're going to have to put in your lineup.
Yeah,
you're going to have to pivot, right? Like I have a lineup right now. It's Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell, and Ross Chastain. All excellent road course drivers. Kyle Busch has excellent history here. He's a top 5, top 10 guy every single year here at COTA. I think that's going to have to be the strategy. Sure, do your SVG thing, but it makes it really hard for lineup construction. What do you think this week?
I mean, I love Bowman. I put a bet on him in the Patreon, I think on Wednesday. Perfect at COTA from a top 10 standpoint. 5 starts, 5 top 10s. Next gens finishes 2nd, 2, 6, and a 9th. Strong 4, reliable finishing points. Hendrick equipment, absolutely love him. Another guy I'm looking at is Ross Chastain, winner in 2022, led 31 laps, 4 top 10s and 5 starts, strong average finish, proven to close, aggressive style, fast lap upside, lower projected ownership than the Hendrick drivers. And he's going to take those risks that these other drivers won't take. You also mentioned Chris Buescher, 3 straight top 10s, 6th, 6th, and 7th, 60% top 10 rate at this track, strong road course metrics ever since 2022. He rarely dominates laps, but he's going to score consistency with his finishing position. He has a safer floor than public perception guesses. I also put a bet on him in the Patreon, link in the description below. And, you mentioned Kyle Busch, 4 top 10s and 5 stars, 80% hit rate, 54 laps led, second most laps in the next gen car. If he qualifies outside the top 10, that's going to be absolutely huge, because I think we're going to get those bonus points for him moving up. If he does qualify well, I'll probably pivot away from him. But those are kind of the guys that I am looking. Oh yeah. And you mentioned William Byron. We kind of look at William Byron here from a DFS standpoint. Laps led, fastest lap, win, equality, second best average finish at COTA over the last 3 races, 5th, 1st, 2nd, 71 laps led. That's the most in this next gen thing. Won in 2024 with 42 laps. Average finish here is 6.2.
A most unlucky driver. William Byron's the best driver in him or Kyle Larson, maybe Chase Elliott right there, Denny Hamlin. But the wrecks. He just has the worst luck. William Byron will be winning a race, about to win a race. You'll have Austin Dillon not showing that he's coming out of the pits. Boom, explosion. It's just bad luck with Will Byron or his pit crew. His crew is always fucking up. So that becomes the concern, right, with Will Byron. Like, I play him every week, it feels like. And I'm just like, fuck, what bad is going to happen to Will Byron? So we've talked about all these guys up top, and Christopher Bell, all these guys who are really, really good. Carson Hocevar at this road course is not a player I would play. He's not good here. I don't think he's even
this year. I mean, I'll be honest. I think Hocevar wins a race this year. I don't know if this is it.
No, not a road course. He finished top 15 last year. I think that's his only top 15 here. He's not a road guy.
Yeah.
22nd back in 2024. And I'm just trying to see if he has any sort of I don't think he even drove it here in 2023. I'm not big. Speedway tracks, intermediate tracks. Give me some Carson Hocevar. I'm not so sure here on the road course. So let's look at guys. So let's say we're doing an SVG build, and so we've got to drop down here and pay for some guys. So let's start at 7,500 and under, right? Because these start to get to be the guys who aren't necessarily known as road course drivers, right? These aren't necessarily guys we're expecting to finish high. Ryan Blaney has had some good qualifying here and some decent finishes. I would say he's obviously the top guy, and boom, that's easy. So then you get to Logano, Cindric, Denny Hamlin, Priest, Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez is interesting to me. He finishes terrible here every year, but he qualifies awesome. He's qualified top 5 2 of the last 3 years at this track. So he it's not that his car can't perform or he can't drive it. It's something happening during the race. So maybe a guy like Daniel Suarez at 6,900 on DraftKings. Noah Gragson has a top 10 here. He's a good road course trucks. He was good in the trucks on road courses. I think he was top 10 last year? I think he was 8th last year. Yeah, he ran 8th last year, started at 17th. And I just want to point out, starting position is really important in a lot of NASCAR races. Certainly in this one, because there's fewer laps, the passing is much more difficult. But we did see last year, Christopher Bell won from the 19th position. Will Byron came in 2nd. He started 15th. In fact, Chris Buescher started 24th, finished 7th. Gragson 17th, finished 8th. Bowman 21st, finished 9th. So McDowell 16th, finished 11th. So you had 7 of the top 11 cars start outside the top 10. So there are ways to pass, but it's not going to be this guy's coming from 39th and drafting to the front. That if your guy starts way in the back like that, you're in a lot of trouble unless you get one of these elite guys like an SVG or a Tyler Reddick, right?
A guy that I like, he is priced down at 6,100. I like my boy Todd Gilliland.
Todd Gilliland.
Looking at him, 10th, 26th, 10th, 16th. But over that same time frame, that's the 13th best average finish. Better than Gill, better than Cindric, better than Denny Hamlin, better than Ryan Blaney. So, I mean, that at 6,100, definitely interested in him. Austin Cindric, he's only at 7,200. He is right below of the 15th best average finish. He does have 2 top 10s here, but those were in March of 2023 and March of 2022, finished 18th and 25th, the last 2. So, I mean, those are kind of like some lower price guys I'd be looking at going a little bit lower than
I like
that.
the Gilliland call. Todd Gilliland's pretty much because he's a solid road course driver as well. So I think that's
And
I
then
think Gilliland makes sense.
What about Brad? 6,300?
It's not really his cup of tea. Let's see. Top 15, he finished 15th last year. What did we get in 2024? 33rd in 2024. Go back to 2023. That's weird to see Stenhouse in the top 10 because Stenhouse finished 35th at Drive Shaft now. So he hasn't had great history here. He's a veteran. I think of Keselowski as a speedway guy, you know, as like a Stenhouse, like an Austin Cindric. Not sure I trust him here. Some guys who I think are overpriced. Chase Briscoe, I think is a good young driver. I love Chase Briscoe. They got him priced a little high. I think he's priced a little high. And I think Connor Zilic is priced way too high. They have him as the second highest driver. And I know he's excellent on road courses. He's beaten SVG head to head. He's won this race, but he's still a rookie. He's 19 years old. And you want to price him ahead of Tyler Reddick right now? And William Byron? Are we fucking out of our minds? Now that might lower his ownership. Yeah. So it could be a nice pivot if he runs away with this thing. It lowers his ownership. But for me, Connor Zilic is a complete stay away. SportsFact says build a lineup, NASCAR lineup. I gave you one if you were listening earlier. That's an excellent lineup. I'll be playing that one. So
I haven't even looked at this. I mean, like,
I think one driver at a time. We'll build it.
Who are you going with?
You want me to go first? I never go first, but I'll go first.
I can go first, dude. I'll go Todd. Give me Todd.
Todd Gill. We're gonna be able to build a sick lineup with him. I'm gonna go with the guy who hasn't finished lower than third. He's had a rough start the first couple of weeks of this year, but I think he bounces back this week. I'm gonna take Christopher Bell, 9,800. I like Christopher Bell a lot. I think he has a great shot at winning this race this week.
I will go Buescher at 8,300.
Chris Buescher at 8,300. I will go Kyle Busch. Actually, let's go Alex Bowman, 7,800. We have 9,000 per player, so we can pretty much pick whoever we want.
I will go Chastain.
Ross Chastain at 8,100. That leaves 9,900. So I'm going to take Tyler Reddick then at 95. So this is a fucking good lineup. Todd Gilliland, Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick. Even if you want to go Bowman to Kyle Busch, don't hate that. Chastain to the Dinger, don't hate that. So there's some good options there. Going down to Gilliland will certainly give you some leeway there. Again, we appreciate you guys. Come check out all of our lineup sites. $15 a month, 50 cents a day. Baseball season starting. I'll have strikeout props and parlays and shit in there all year long. Erik's crushing college basketball. All of our DFS lines for UFC. I already have UFC write-up and best bets put up in there and a couple DFS lineups posted already in the Patreon. All of our NASCAR will be there probably tomorrow after qualifying. That's when we'll have a little bit more, just make sure that there's no backup cars that we're dealing with or any situations, that sort of thing. We appreciate that. Please like, subscribe, follow Erik's channel, my channel. We're going to have tons of stuff. We appreciate you guys very, very much. We'll be back next week for myself and Erik. Have a great weekend. Good luck on all your future wagers.